up for a story this morning? Yes, maybe? How is everyone this morning? You good? Yes, there's a story. This is another one. I don't think I have told you this one before, but you probably know it. Oh yes, you probably. And it begins where all our stories have begun this winter, and that's in the desert, in the Holy Land, in the land where Jesus lived and taught people about God and healed people. And this is another of the stories about something that happened to Jesus. And he had become so popular that everywhere he went, there were huge crowds. Even bigger crowds than Justin Bieber would have when he gathered somewhere, especially now. What's that? You don't like Justin Bieber? I'm not crazy about him either. So. But I do like Jesus, and he gathered big crowds everywhere. And so what happened? He got so busy. There were so many people that wanted to hear what he had to say that he trained his disciples and he sent them out to help spread the word so that he didn't have to do all of the work. And so this particular story starts where Jesus is with a crowd. He's with a small crowd. And he doesn't have any of the disciples around him because they're all out somewhere else. And they're by, I'm going to throw this down in front of you, Taylor, because they're by the sea. And actually, that's great, we'll just stretch it across the front there. So they're on the seashore, and actually, they're over here. And Jesus is waiting for his disciples to come back, because they've been gone for quite a while. And so finally, they arrive. And they're really excited because they've been out in different towns and people are really excited about God and hearing this story and wanting to know where Jesus is and what he's doing. And so they come back and they're excited, but they're also really tired because they've been talking and talking and talking and healing people and doing all kinds of things. And so Jesus says, I think that we need to get into a boat and get away from this crowd and find a quiet spot where we can rest. And so they get into a boat. They get into a boat, they leave the crowd behind, and they go down the sea to try and find a quiet place. The problem is that the people saw them leaving and ran down the shore to follow them. And as they went, everybody that they ran into, they said, you've got to come with us because Jesus is in that boat and he's going to land somewhere and we want to be wherever he ends up. So they get off the boat at this end. And not only is there this crowd that had been with them before, but there's this crowd.
Oh my goodness!
And this crowd. And this crowd. Are there two there? And this crowd. And this crowd.
There's two
There's two there. I know, they're just everywhere. I want to set that one out there somewhere. Sorry. Thousands of people were so excited to hear what Jesus had to say about God, because he was just so full of the Spirit and was just so loving and caring. And so these people stayed and stayed and stayed, and it got dark, and it was getting into the evening, and the followers said to Jesus, "We need to send these people home. Like, they need to go and eat. We can't look after all these people. And if they don't get home soon, it's going to be too late to cook anything." And Jesus said to the followers, "You give them something to eat." Well, they looked at all these people and said, "How do we do that? How could we possibly feed all of these people? That just doesn't make sense." And so they said, are we supposed to take the little bit of money we have and go and find a store somewhere and buy food? And Jesus said, "No, that's not the kind of feeding that they need." And he said, go and see how many loaves of bread you have." And so they went out and came back with a basket. And what did it have?
Fish and bread.
How many loaves are there?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think there's 2 fish.
5 loaves
And 2
and 2 fish. And they took it to Jesus, and they said, "That's what we've got." And he said, "You know, that's enough." And they went, "That's enough to feed all these people?" And Jesus said, "Yeah." And Jesus stepped into the middle of the crowd, and he got them to sit in groups of 50s and 100s. And he took the bread, and he held it up in front of the people, and he broke it. And he broke it into a whole bunch of pieces, and then gave it to the followers to give to the people.
But there's a tiny bit.
Everyone had a little wee bit to eat, and everyone felt full. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, because it was touched by God.
I wonder what it would be like to spend a day with Jesus.
Wonderful! Exciting!
I wish I could have done that. Although I'm glad I live now.
Scary.
Scared? Do you think it'd be scary?
Awesome.
Yeah, he was
Awesome.
pretty special, awesome.
Because you would get to actually see the Savior.
And I wonder how a little wee bit of bread made people feel full. I wonder how that happened.
It was touched by God.
Because it was touched by God?
Because the Spirit had entered it.
Because the Spirit had entered it?
When Jesus touched it, if the Spirit entered it, it made them feel full.
Yeah.
Just like the fruits of the Spirit.
Yeah, it was sort of like eating the Spirit, maybe. Yeah. Well, you're going to get to wonder a bit more about this in children's church, but we're going to sing a song which I really like. It's a new one, so I think Elaine's going to play it through. It's called "Jesus Laughed Out Loud," and I bet that's what he did when all these people were full after having a little bit of bread. I wonder how he broke the fish up into little pieces. I always wondered about that. Do you think he cut it?